Hello, my name is Donna Gentile. I'd like to talk to you a little bit today about domestic violence and then sing you a song that I wrote called The Road Less Traveled. Recently, at a speakers training bureau at Interval House in Hartford, that's in Connecticut in the US, I was given this book, and it's full of some wonderful information, facts about domestic violence and myths. So first I'm going to talk to you about the cycle of domestic violence before I sing The Road Less Traveled. I'm going to read right from the book. Cycle of domestic violence. Battering is the establishment of control and fear in a relationship through violence in a series of behaviors, including intimidation, threats, psychological abuse, isolation, etc., to coerce and to control the other person. The violence may not happen often, but it remains as a hidden and constant terrorizing factor. This is, in parentheses, Common Purpose, Inc., Jamaica Plain, Massachusetts. Now, most of us, when we think of domestic violence, we think of a woman being physically beaten. But I just would like to point out that that is only one aspect of what domestic violence is. It is abuse and control, power, manipulation. It comes in many different forms. But there is a cycle of violence that is very helpful to be aware of. The following components of the cycle of violence may be experienced by someone in an abusive relationship, and I'm reading this again from the little booklet. Tension building phase: criticism, yelling, swearing, using angry gestures, coercion, and threats. The violence phase: physical and sexual attacks and threats. The seduction phase: apologies, blaming, promises to change, and gifts. Love, hope, fear. These three dynamics keep the cycle in motion and make it hard to end a violent relationship. Love for your partner. The relationship has its good points and it's not all bad. Hope that it will change. The relationship didn't begin like this. When the person finds themselves in a violent relationship, often people will say, well, you chose that. But I'm here to tell you that we don't sign up for things like that. It's not obvious in the beginning. And if there are red flags, often it's hard to see the red flags because they can be subtle. So education and awareness becomes important. Back to love, hope, and fear. Fear. This book says fear that the threats to kill you or your family will become a reality. But there's also fear that the abuser will hurt you or your family. There's all kinds of threats and control that can be used. The system is used. If there's a child involved, the child is used. Okay, so one thing that I want to point out that I've noticed, and it has to do with language. A lot of times I'll listen to a victim who's on their journey from victim to survivor to thriver. And even some of the people in the thriver place, they will still say, my abuser. My abuser, my abuser, my abuser. And at some point I learned, I think it was from a wonderful woman at Interval House West, I learned that using the word my and calling the abuser my abuser can make a person feel like they are responsible for the abuse. It makes you feel like you own it, like you have some part in it. So in order to move away from being a victim, it's important to not call the abuser my abuser. We can say the man who abused me, the person who abused me, the abuser. Just a little language thing. Okay, this is the road less traveled. It's called the road less traveled because often a person going through domestic violence and realizing it for the first time in the early stages, it can feel really isolating. You can feel really alone. There's a lot of shame in admitting that you're actually in a place of being a victim. You can have a degree, you can be very intelligent, you can be a business owner. I just heard a story about a judge who was a victim of domestic violence and abuse. So it crosses all cultures, boundaries, ages, races, and creeds. The road less traveled. She takes the road less traveled for sure. He takes the gift she leaves at the door. She knows she goes where she's never gone before. She brings him offerings, she fluffs his fragile wings, he spits her colors on the floor. She takes sweet time picking flowers and baking bread. He speaks and feels race around in his head. She blows a kiss from goddess lips painted red. La 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la. She walks, she talks in poetry and song. He barks, he bites, and she bleeds all night long. She waits, she runs, her spirit is strong. She brought him offerings and prayed for his broken wings. He spit her colors on the floor. She climbs, she sings, she dances, she's free. He stalks, he scares, and he scratches and screams. He's lost control, the power he buries. La 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la. Death stirs, he wakes and he's sorry and kind. Ancestors at work bring peace to his mind. Hate goes, love grows, and peace a child finds, but just for a while. Then the cycle of violence begins again. It's aimed at the mother, but hurts the child in the end. She brings forth offerings, she fixes broken dreams. He spits her colors on the floor. She'll take a road less traveled for sure. La 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 la, la 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 la. Thank you. That was The Road Less Traveled, and I am Donna Gentile. You can find more of my music at donna-g.com. Thank you.